What's going on, everyone? It's Josh from TradingPriceAction.com. Today's video, I'm going to go over the week ahead for the week of November 17th through November 22nd. Now, this is the week ahead report I've done yet, so I'm pretty excited to be bringing it to you guys. We're going to be covering 7 currency pairs, 4 on the 4-hour chart, 1 on the daily chart, and 2 on the weekly chart. So there's going to be a good variety of time frames that I'm going to be looking at. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get started. Okay, so the first chart we're going to be looking at is Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar on the 4-hour chart. Now we see on this, we see prices are approaching a major support zone. The reason why I say major support zone is because we have a touch here where prices come down, hit it, shoot back up. We have a touch here, prices come down, shoot back up. And if we go back a little bit farther, I think there's another one. We see where prices come down, a pin bar forms rejecting the support zone, prices shoot back up. So we could be expecting the same thing, but I'm looking for 2 trade scenarios that could form on this chart. The first one is if prices come down right here and then form a bullish price action trade setup rejecting this support zone. Now this is if the support zone is held and prices get stopped by this support zone, and in that case we're going to be looking to long this pair. Now in the past, prices have done just that. Prices have come down to the support zone, respected it, and then shot back up. So I mean, this is a very valid possibility that could unfold. The next one is if the support zone does not hold prices. In that case, prices are going to bust through the support zone, come back up, retest the broken support turn resistance zone. In that case, we'll be looking for a bearish price action trade setup to form, and then we will short the pair, looking to go short right here. Now those are the 2 trade scenarios I'm going to be looking for on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar for our chart, and prices are getting pretty close to the support zone, and it's on the 4-hour chart also, so it's going to be happening within the first day or 2 of prices hitting this support zone. So make sure you keep a close eye on this currency pair. Next currency pair is US dollar, Canadian dollar. Now on this, prices are again nearing a strong support zone right here. We have support here, support all throughout here, and then we have again some support and resistance right here. So as we notice, it's a pretty strong support zone right here, so we should expect either prices to come down, get respected, prices respect this support zone, and then for prices to shoot back up. In that case, we're going to be looking for a bullish price action trade setup to form right in this area, and then we're going to look to go long. The other scenario, and the more ideal scenario, would be if prices bust right on through the support zone. In that case, breaks right on past this area, comes back up and retests this broken support turn resistance zone. When it does that, we're going to be looking for a bearish price action trade setup to form, and then we're going to look to short it. Now I say this ideal because as you can see over here, there is a ton of open space for this trade to move freely without getting interfered as it would if we were to long this pair and prices respect the support zone and we went up right here. All this traffic to the left of the trade would really interfere with prices moving up. As you can see, there's all kinds of minor support and resistance zones all throughout here that would interfere with prices moving up. Now if prices shot down, there's nothing over in this area to interfere with prices moving down. So that's why we're going to be ideally looking for this support zone to get broken, then for us to short this pair. The next currency pair we're going to be looking at is the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, also on the 4-hour chart. And if we zoom in and take a look at this, it's a pretty interesting chart at the moment. As you see, we have a lot of selling pressure sitting right on this support zone. I mean, that's putting a lot of pressure on the support zone. I mean, there's this much pressure on the support zone. What we usually see happens is for prices to bust right through this support zone, since it's getting pretty weak right here. So that's what we're expecting. We're expecting prices to burst right through the support zone. In that case, we're going to look for prices to pull back and retest it. Then we'll be looking for a bearish price action trade setup to form, rejecting the broken support turn resistance zone, and then we're going to look to short this pair. That's the ideal trade scenario that we're going to be looking for in here, is for price to burst right through this support zone, as it looks like it's getting weakened right here. And then we're going to look for a pullback and retest of the support of the resistance zone, and then we're going to look to short this pair. So that's it for the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, and those three pairs, these three right here, are pretty similar, as they're all coming to a major support zone. So we're going to be watching these three when that support zone gets hit, and we'll be watching what happens to the prices. Now the Swiss franc yen is probably my favorite chart that I'm highlighting in this week's report, as it's produced a pretty high quality trade setup. Now this red maroon line I've marked is the resistance zone. Now this resistance zone is an area on the chart that has never been broken. This resistance zone has been hit multiple times before, as you can see right here, shot down, here, shot down. It's been hit multiple times, but prices have never in this chart's history gone above this resistance zone. So this is the market high for this whole chart right here. So right here we have another price have made its way back up, all the way from down here, made its way back up to this resistance zone, and have formed a bearish 2-bar reversal rejecting this resistance zone. So in that case, we have a very, very strong resistance zone right here, along with a bearish price action trade setup forming, rejecting this resistance zone. Now this is a very good trade setup that I'm going to be looking to enter when the market opens up, and depending on where it opens up at. Ideally, I'm going to be looking to enter at the bottom of these 2-bar reversals, and I'm going to looking to short this trade right here. That's what I'm ideally looking for when the market opens up, and what I would predict to happen on this chart. So I'm going to be watching this chart really closely, as it's looking like a very high quality trade setup that I'd love to get into. So I'm going to be watching that chart closely right here. So that's it for the 4-hour charts. We're now going to move on to the daily and weekly charts. So the daily chart that we're going to be looking at is very similar to the Swiss franc yen. This is a New Zealand dollar yen, but this time it's on the daily chart. As you can see here, we have multiple touches on this resistance zone. We have price touch here. Prices get respected, shoot back down. We have a touch here. Prices respect the resistance zone and shoot back down. And then this time prices have come back up, and they're sitting right below this resistance zone right now. So there's two trading scenarios that we're going to be watching for. Either prices are going to respect this resistance zone, or prices aren't going to respect the resistance zone and burst right through. So in the case that they do respect the resistance zone, we are going to be looking for price to retrace a little bit, just a little bit, and then come back up right in this area. Once prices get in this area after the retest, we're going to be looking for a bearish price action trade setup, and then we're going to look to short this pair right here. Now if prices do burst right on through this resistance zone right here, what we're going to be looking for is price to burst through, come back, retest where it busted through at, and then form a bullish price action trade setup, which we will enter long right there. That's the ideal trade scenario right there, as if you see, once prices get through this resistance zone, there's not much to the left right here that could interfere with anything. Now if we short this pair right here, there's support and resistance zones all throughout this area that could really interfere with prices moving down. So that's why the ideal scenario is going to be if we long this pair and prices burst through this resistance zone, pull back, and then we go long. That's why it's ideal. There's a lot of open space and a lot of area for this trade to run free. So I'm going to be watching that currency pair pretty closely once the market opens up. So make sure you mark that New Zealand dollar yen on the daily chart. So that's it for the daily charts. Now we're going to be moving on to 2 weekly charts. The first of the 2 weekly charts is the Euro US dollar weekly chart. On this chart we have a 2-bar reversal that's formed right here, rejecting this support zone right here that I've marked. Now remember, a 2-bar reversal is when 2 bars form, and if they're morphed together would form a pin bar. So as you can see with this would be forming a pretty good looking pin bar if those 2 bars are morphed together. Also, this support zone is not the best, but it still is decent as far as support and resistance zones. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of good touches right here. Right here is another 2-hour reversal right here that's rejecting it. A touch here. Now this is the only spot on the resistance zone in the recent resistance zone that kind of puts me off. For this resistance zone being fairly strong, is that prices come up, close above it, and shoot right back down. They just disregarded this resistance zone for this time being right here. As you see right here, we have another touch right here, a couple touches through here, and then we have another touch with this 2-bar reversal. What you should expect to happen here is for prices to go up, but remember, with weekly charts, the trade setups are usually more reliable, but the average trade length is going to be a lot longer. So for example, say you take a trade on the daily chart and the average trade maybe is 7 days. If you take that same exact trade on the weekly chart, that trade is going to take 7 weeks. So I mean, just put that in perspective. It's going to be a long ride if you take a trade on the weekly chart. So if you have the patience to sit there and take trades for that long, then I mean, go right ahead and take this trade, as it's a pretty good looking trade setup. And the same thing with the next chart is the Australian dollar US dollar, another weekly chart, and another good trade setup on the weekly chart. So if we take a look, we see that it's pretty obvious. I guess you can see a pin bar right here, a bullish pin bar rejecting the support zone. Now this pin bar is not very big, and that's why I'm not going to be taking this trade. As you can see, the previous bars are all bigger than this pin bar, as that's not the ideal thing. We'd like the pin bar to be much bigger, probably about at least double this size for me to even think about taking this trade. But everything else on this trade is what we look for in a trade. As you can see, it's looking like a new uptrend is starting, and this is the first pullback that's happened. So in that case, in the pullback sense, this is a good trade. Also, for the fact that it's on a strong support zone would also support the fact that this is a good trade setup. But the only reason is that I'm not taking this trade is because this pin bar is just too small for me to take. Now I want to zoom out a little bit and show you why this support zone is actually such a good looking support zone. As you can see right here, all through this area right here, prices respected the resistance zone and stayed below it. And then right here, prices actually did break through, and then since then they have been up here, and we have another touch right here that respected the zone, shot back up, and then so prices are right back in this area again. And this time they formed a pin bar, but it's a little bit too small for my likings, and that's why I'm not going to be taking this trade. But I mean, it's still worth a look and see if you would take it. I mean, not all traders are the same, so I mean, this could be a valid trade setup for you, but not for me. So that wraps this week ahead up for the week of November 17th through the 22nd. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is, like I said, my longest report I've ever done for the week ahead. So I really hope that you guys have taken some notes and have marked these charts to watch, as a lot of these charts are going to be hitting a major support zone within the first couple sessions of when the market opens up. So make sure to be watching those charts closely. Also, one more quick thing, I'm going to be making a announcement on Monday regarding my site, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back again on Monday, which will be tomorrow, for my Monday's Currency Spotlight, so I'm excited to be doing that. So until that Currency Spotlight video, I'll talk to you guys soon, and safe trading, everyone.